Welcome to the video. I'm CuddlyJay, and today we'll be looking at a fun, budget-friendly Clarent Shield build for PvE solo. So let's get straight into this video. I'm super excited about this one. So as we can see, we have the Clarent Blade. This is a one hand, so it fits in your main hand. And we're going to show you this, and then I'll show you what shields to use. So for the ability here, for the first one, I went with Heroic Cleave. This is a damage buff ability. You swing your sword in a 6-meter radius around you, dealing 158 physical damage. It applies heroic charges on you based on the amount of enemies you hit. Each heroic charge increases your move speed by 9% and your auto attack speed by 12% for 6 seconds, and this stacks up to 3 times. The main reason I went for this is because whenever you group up enemies, 2 or more, when you do the Heroic Cleave, you're going to do more damage to them. Unlike the other one, which is Heroic Strike, this only does single targeted damage. Now, if you were fighting a boss, I'm just too lazy, but you could switch between the two, so do Heroic Strike for the boss fights, and then just leave Heroic Cleave for the, mobs and so forth. Next, I've gone with Blade Cyclone. I really like this attack personally. I know a lot of people like the Splitting Slash, but I really enjoy Blade Cyclone. It's a damage mobility ability. So yeah, basically you pick an area where you want to go, and you will spin into that direction, dealing 104 physical damage up to 3 times to all enemies you pass through. Now, if you have at least 1 heroic charge that's active on you, this ability will consume 1 charge, dealing an additional 156 physical damage each time instead. Next, we have the coolest attack, I think, one of the coolest attacks in the game, Crescent Slash. This is a damage crowd control ability. It is slice the air to shoot a demonic wave in the targeted direction, piercing through all enemies and dealing 443 magical damage. Consumes heroic charges for one of the following secondary effects. So if you have 1 heroic charge on you, it'll slow enemies by 30% for 2.8 seconds. If you have 2 heroic charges, you'll silence enemies for 2.8 seconds, and then if you have 3, you'll deal an additional 404 magical damage. Really, it's up to you if you want to go for the damage and so forth. I have used these silences to interrupt spells and all from PvE enemies, so it does help out big time, but having that additional, magical damage added on helps out, kill the boss faster or kill the enemies faster. So it's up to you on how you use this, and that's what I like about Crescent Slash. It also looks badass, reminds me of some sort of samurai anime show or something, like Zoro out of One Piece. Now for our passive for the Clarent Blade, I went with Deep Cuts. As you can see, every 4 auto attacks you inflict a bleed on the target enemy, dealing 43 physical damage over 1.5 seconds. I just wanted more damage because the rest of this build is a bit more tanky, so it just helps out and balances that. Now, for your shield of choice, I am going to recommend, this is a budget build, so if you can't afford this, don't worry, I will have other suggestions, but I highly recommend go with the Facebreaker for this. It'll just increase your physical attack bonus, and as you see, magic attack bonus, physical ability, magical ability, defense versus mobs, that's what we're interested in, and then threat generation, defense versus players doesn't matter because this is a PvE solo build, but they're handy to have as well. Now, if you can't afford the Facebreaker, maybe you're new to the game, maybe you're looking for a Clarent build that's very budget friendly, you could go for this one here, the Kive shield. Defense versus mobs is 3.7%, CC duration versus mobs is 3.2%, that can help you out as well, but my highest recommendation would be the Sarcophagus. So this is, if you're on an extreme budget, as you can see, 2,854 on the auction. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's a little bit more, but overall it's super budget friendly, and it'll give you this 3.9% versus mobs, and that's what you want. So yeah, as I say, the best, I would say, Facebreaker, go for that for this PvE solo build. If you can't afford it and you're really out of, money, go for the Sarcophagus. It's a good shield as well and looks pretty nice as well. I like the rectangle look to it. So for your jacket of choice, we're going with the Mercenary Jacket, as you can see, and you're going to go with Bloodlust. This is a healing ability. Give into your Bloodlust, restoring 91 health whenever you deal direct damage within the next 6 seconds. Only applies up to 7 times. So the way I use this is whenever your health is low, pop this, and then what I suggest is use the good old-fashioned Blade Cyclone on your Clarent Blade. You'll go through the enemies, and you'll get a bunch of health back. That's how I get all my health back. It's really handy, especially if you have a bunch of enemies around you. It's just super easy to do, and you don't need to worry about health with this build. Yes, your health might go a little bit, low, but overall, just pop this, and it'll be back to full in no time, and of course, no problem. Then for my passive, I went with Swiftness to increase your auto attack speed by 12%, but if you want, you could go with Balance Mind. I'll leave that up to you. Next, I went with the Soldier Helmet. I really enjoy the block attack. This is a buff, so basically you'll tap this and you'll block incoming attacks, becoming immune to damage and all crowd control effects while channeling for 2.5 seconds. The cool thing about this is you can also move while channeling it, so you can get out of danger. It's a super good one. I use it when I'm really lazy and just can't be bothered dodging abilities. I'll just tap it, block, and then just stand in the ability. Maybe I'll walk out if I want to. But yeah, in boss fights and so forth, it's going to help you out big time. Overall, it's just a really good ability, and I think it's a bit underrated, honestly, for PvE. So yeah, get yourself a Soldier's Helmet. It's very cheap indeed, and use block. Now, I went with Toughness to increase our defense, as you can see, for the passive on the Soldier Helmet. Just get a bit more defense there. Next, we went with Soldier Boots, and I needed a bit more health. This was more for in-between combat and all, so I went with the Rejuvenating Sprint on the Soldier Boots. This will start a sprint, increasing your move speed by 80% and healing you for 106 health over 5 seconds. So let's say you're going for a dungeon, you can use this to just increase your move speed through the dungeon. You can use it to get some of your health back. You can use it to help dodge attacks and so forth. It's really, really good. I love the Soldier Boots personally. They're one of my favorite boots in the entire game. And for our passive, we just went with Toughness to increase our defense some more. For your bag, as this is a budget build, just go with a normal bag. This isn't as important. And then for your cape, so you can of course go with a normal cape. This build will 100% work with that. So if you're on a very extreme budget, go with the normal cape. But if you have a little bit extra, money on you, get the Martlock Cape. So this is a Shield of Protection buff. Conditions. It activates when your health drops below 25%. Protect yourself with a shield, increasing your defense versus all by 50% for 5 seconds. So you don't really need to worry too much about health because you'll have your Soldier Boots with the Rejuvenating Sprint. That'll get some health back during combat or in between combat. You'll have your Bloodlust for super emergencies, or just whenever you're bored and want to get your health back up. And then let's say your health goes down to 25%, you'll get a shield on top of that will give you 50% defense versus all for 5 seconds. So it's really good build. The cooldown on the Martlock cape is a bit long, 3 minutes 9 seconds, but overall it's kind of like an emergency passive to have during your combat. For our potions and all, you can go with a health potion, or you go with whatever you want. I just recommend a minor poison potion because it'll help out with boss fights, or anything you're having a tougher time with. You can just use this, throw it on them, and deal extra damage. As you can see here, it just throw the potion at the target enemy, poisoning the target, and dealing 450 true damage versus mobs over 4 seconds. That's a lot of damage for mobs, so I would say go with a poison potion. For our carrot soup here, as you can see, this is my health regeneration. So you'll eat this when you're outside of combat, and it'll just increase your health regeneration by 100% for 30 minutes. So in between combat, you can eat this, and for 30 minutes, whenever you're not in a fight, your health will go way up, unlike if you had none at all. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this fun budget build with a Clarent Blade and a shield. I just getting back into the game again, and I really, really enjoy PvE. I know that's a bit odd for some of you to hear, but I really do enjoy it. It's just fun to be mindlessly sitting here and PvEing. And I thought I would just make a Clarent build with a shield because I love the Clarent build. I think it's one of the coolest weapons in the game because of the Crescent Slash attack. It's pretty damn badass, shooting off that red slash into the, distance pretty much, and dealing quite a bit of damage. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this build. Let me know if you enjoyed the Clarent build, and if you think the Crescent Slash is the coolest attack in the game. Maybe some of you do think that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. I appreciate all of the support, and I'll see you in another video. Cheerio, everyone.